Good morning. Today's May 22nd. This is the last day of the 83rd legislature that bills can be heard in the Texas Senate. And so we're going to have a really busy day with all the bills that are remaining so we can bring them to the floor of the Senate and get a vote on them. After today, all we have to work on are conference committee reports and resolutions and things like that. There's been progress made on the state budget, and it's going to be a substantial increase from the very difficult budget period in 2011, around $3.9 billion additional going into public education, a lot of money going into higher ed and healthcare, transportation. HB 5 is the curriculum and testing bill. I am on the conference committee, the committee that sits and resolves the differences in the Senate bill and the House bill. But at the end of the day, we are going to tremendously reduce the number of STAR tests. We're going to have a curriculum plan that's designed to see to it that there's a reason for every young person to stay in school and graduate with a high school diploma. House Bill 866 passed the floor of the Senate last night about 10 o'clock. And what it does is reduce potentially the number of STAR tests given between the 3rd grade and the 8th grade from 17 to 11 tests for students who perform well. And for example, that if a young person does really well on the math test in 3rd grade, they don't have to take that math test in the 4th grade because we already know how they're going to perform. One of the things that I've been working on since last January were tuition revenue bonds. That's the money that goes to pay for new buildings and college campuses. And we're pretty far apart from the House of Representatives. We will get the differences resolved, but whether it's West Texas A&M or Texas Tech Health Science Center in Odessa and Amarillo at University of Texas Permian Basin, there's going to be new buildings, facilities, laboratories, and classrooms to see to it that these institutions can accommodate the growth in the future that is absolutely going to occur. One of the things that has really occupied a lot of attention is legislation having to do with endangered species and the fact that if the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service overreacts and lists animals that shouldn't be based upon science that is not the best, it can completely curtail activities when it comes to oil and gas drilling, agriculture, home building and development, and we have to be very, very careful. We have been supported in this effort by people like Panhandle Producers and Royalty Owners Association, Permian Basin Petroleum Association, the Farm Bureau, Texas Cattle Feeders, Texas and Southwest Cattle Raisers, to see to it that we protect species that may be endangered, but we realize that we should only curtail important business activities in this state if there is a real danger, and that danger must be measured by absolutely good science. I appreciate all the help that I've gotten making this bill possible for it to come to the floor, and it will today on the last day to hear bills. As always, as busy as things are in the Texas Capitol, I've enjoyed seeing people from home come by. Yesterday, a couple of students who were going to compete in UIL competition, and I think come back to the Panhandle or the Permian Basin with state championships. That ought to make us all very proud. The phone number here in the Capitol is 512-463-0131, and what really helps us as we make decisions are phone calls and emails from people back in the 31st District, and I'll look forward to seeing everyone when I get home, not long after the 83rd session is over.